Freaking wow. Holy cow. GMs, guys, welcome to the Non-Fungible Idiots Live. This song, I mean, you couldn't have a more perfect time to rock the Kongz anthem, huh? Welcome, boys. Henry, how the hell are you doing? By the way, good to see you guys. How you doing, Henry? How you doing, Joe?
Good. You know what? Can I just say something?
Yeah, please.
We are so back, baby. We are so back. Everything is amazing. Everything's happening. Nothing could be fudding us today. Nothing could bum out the space today. It's just an amazing day. Just wanted to put that out there before we started. But yeah, thank you. Welcome, everybody.
I mean, you're not back till the Wells notices start flying,
what?
Right?
Wait, what?
Dude, okay, we don't have a ton of time. We don't, like, normally we go after the hour. We do a little fun extra after show, little whatever you call that thing. I don't think we have that today. Hollywood Henry is back. Henry's probably got to make the rounds and talk about what is going on. So, man, let's get right to it. What is going on? The CyberKongz announced today that they have received a Wells notice from the SEC. Henry, you've been dealing with this for way longer than people realize. It's got to be a weight off your chest. But, man, probably a great starting point is what happened? What are the charges that you're facing from the SEC? And then we'll talk, like, what are the implications and how did it start?
Charges, like indecent exposure or something.
Well,
like,
maybe
it has nothing to do with the Kongz. Henry's been going to conferences and exposing his genitals to everybody.
Yeah, so music's still playing, but you want it to be...
Do you want it low? Is that cool? It just gets me in that zone, you know?
Yeah. Maybe people understanding, like, the Wells notice is a good starting point, because it's funny, all this stuff is now, like, common knowledge to me, may not be to everybody else. So the Wells notice is basically the SEC informing someone, in this case CyberKongz, that they intend to take legal action, file suit against someone, in this case Kongz, for violations of the Security Act. Security Act of 1933. So, you know, that can be a huge range. That can be anything. When the SEC is sending a Wells notice, it's basically saying, hey, this is your opportunity to formally respond to the commission, because before anything actually happens, the commissioners have to essentially vote on it. So that's Gary Gensler.
Can I just say that Henry is part of the Kongz. He is a what is it called? The Council of Kongz, a member of the Council of Kongz. And so you have been dealing with a lot of this legal stuff. Is that okay to say?
Yeah, I was the first one subpoenaed. So, you know, there's a first for everything. That one was mine.
Dude, well, in fact, if anybody wonders why Henry, like, magically turned into, like, a legal expert in the past year and a half,
or why he was constantly, like, not showing up to the show because he had a phone call, it's because of that.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, you get a real deep dive. I mean, it's almost 2 years to the day that I got subpoenaed. Technically, it's beginning of January, but almost 2 years. And in I guess maybe typical SEC fashion, like they want to go out with a bang, right? So going back to the Wells notice is your opportunity as the person who receives the Wells notice to be able to say, this is why we don't agree with what you're saying. One thing that's probably worth mentioning is in the whole range of shit the SEC can go after you for, what they're going after us for are technical violations. There's no fraud.
Can you give us a list of things that what they're going after you for, and maybe dumb it down for people that, not me, because I'm like, I got it, but like other people that are not as smart, possibly?
I think the broadest thing the SEC can go after people for is a violation of Section 5, which is the unregistered sales of securities. And so, you know, at the very beginning when this happened, you don't, like, dude, I got a subpoena. I have no idea. What are they looking for? What kind of hell is this going to cause? And so, like, the first kind of battle is just understanding, like, well, what kind of trouble could you be in if they don't see eye to eye with what they think you did versus what you did. And so, like, the first hurdle was at least making it through to know that there was no fraud. Yeah, and that's something maybe to make clear. There's no fraud going on.
Let me ask real quick. Oh no, you know, keep going. I'll ask this after.
Yeah, I imagine there's other projects that, you know, if they've been dealing with the SEC that maybe aren't able to as confidently say that there's not fraud. But we knew. I think it took maybe 9 to 12 months, which, by the way, I remember getting this, being freaked out. Who the fuck do you even call when this happens? But then being like, you know, you're going through all these thoughts of like, okay, well, they just want to know about this. And then, you know, in a few weeks, once we give them this shit, they're going to understand, like, oh, there's nothing here.
Big misunderstanding.
Giant misunderstanding.
Like, it's dirty out there. That's not us. And truthfully, that's kind of what the reality is.
Yeah, right? Move on. The Kongs are fine. Move on to the crypto bats. Because
to the Ben.eth.
You motherfucker.
To those kind of things. It was interesting. I remember when which, by the way, our legal counsel has been amazing. Like, just great guys. And they said, like, just understand, like, this is not a short process. It usually takes a couple years. And I remember thinking, like, yeah, for everybody else it does, because there's something there. You know, I bet when the SEC is going after people, there's real shit they're going after. And, you know, of course it takes years, right? With this, it's going to just be, it's a misunderstanding. And yeah, I was fucking totally wrong on that.
What are the specific things they are going after you, the CyberKongz for?
Yeah. So specifically, like, they have an issue with, oh man, it goes so deep. But let's just say, like, after everything they looked, I mean, every single fucking thing they looked into, trust me, they wanted something, right? And after everything, it ultimately came down to Genesis Kongz and Banana, and specifically that we sold. I'm going to air quote sold Genesis Kongz in April of 2021. And the reasoning behind that is, by the way, we didn't sell Genesis Kongz in April of 2021. Genesis Kongz were sold in March of 2021. But one of the issues with them being sold in March of 2021, when we were effectively the first project that did no marketing and it was as organic as it comes, the issue with trying to, like, nail you on that is that there was no, when you look at the Howie, there was no marketing of that. And so, like, that doesn't work to say, like, that was the issue. Let's speed it up a month, 45 days, and say, well, that wasn't the sale. The sale occurred in April when you migrated contracts, which, by the way, when we migrated contracts, that was, first off, optional, and CyberKongz didn't get paid anything on that. You volunteered to, no, I don't want to say volunteered. You made the choice as to whether you wanted to migrate your Kong to the new contract coming off of the OpenSea contract, because that's originally what Kongz launched on, to our own contract. And from there, yield Banana, which Banana was used for breeding babies. So they had to scooch everything up to say that was the sale.
So they moved the goalpost. Initially, it was the Jenny Kongz sale. when that didn't fit their narrative that is a security, they said, okay, that didn't work. It's when you migrated to the new contract, and you guys migrated to the new contract so Jenny Kongz could generate banana. Is that right?
Yeah. Also,
and they weren't sold.
Because it was an OpenSea contract. So there was like nothing you could do with the OpenSea contract other than, let's say, like launch it on OpenSea. We couldn't do anything grungy degen like.
I remember that. I remember back in the day, we were all there, right? I mean, this is, you could call it an OG group, but I remember people would call the OpenSea contract like minting on toilet paper. It wasn't like a good, real contract.
Yeah.
So migrating off it so you guys could have some control and actually build like you guys are known for, you had to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's weird? Okay, so first of all, I'm waiting for you to dumb it down for me, but whatever. It does seem as if when have we decided that these are securities? And what's with April being is April the no selling things month? I mean, I don't understand how going after Jenny's in that month is an issue. And what it was March, but now April was when they said it was, and because of like none of it seems illegal or like in my mind we don't know if they're securities. You had a mint whatever on OpenSea, you migrated it or whatever to your own contract. None of that seems off to me. And then banana, and that's when you say banana, that would be when I would think maybe they had something, but I'm just kind of curious on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So effectively, there's 4 prongs to the Howey test. Some people look at it like there's 3. So in order to be a security, it needs to meet those prongs of the Howey, which are an investment of money in a common enterprise with the expectation of profit through the effort of others. And so the sale in March made money. I mean, keep in mind at the time these sold for about $11 a piece. So you can't argue that it didn't, raise money or that people didn't invest money.
Sure.
But you don't have that prong of that expectation of profits because there was no marketing. People just bought them because they look cool.
Are you saying that the next month there was an expectation of profit after that? Is that why they're going to that month?
Well, what I would assume is that to them, they know they don't have it there. So they have to move it up to the migration because at that point you're advertising. Let's say you're letting your community know you can do this.
Okay.
And so they can say like, oh, well, there's your advertising. Yeah. But then like a common sense would say, well, that's fine. But there was no expectation. There was no money being made from the Kongz. We didn't sell anything. We didn't actually sell Genesis Kongz. And so they really can warp it and say like, well, maybe you didn't, but all of these efforts were to make the price go up and you made creator fees off of that, right? And so like you didn't sell it, but you made creator fees off of people selling them.
Key point there is the creator fees because we saw that I think with Stoner Cats and what was the other one like Founders Impact Theory, right? They continually referenced royalties. And they've set a precedent there where you earning royalties equals what? You raising funds.
Yeah. By the way, they did not set a legal precedent.
Okay.
So precedent only happens when it's been settled. When it's been settled in a court of law. What they've done is they've bullied everybody into settling because first off, this case is unbelievably weak. I mean, unbelievably weak. But they're the 800-pound gorilla, right? They have infinite funds.
No. You're the 800-pound gorilla.
Goddamn right.
Well, now we are.
Bam!
We're the 900-pound gorilla.
Bam! You got to give that moment for a second. I know you're juiced up. That was a good moment. I need you to like at least take a second to understand that. You can't just move by it, okay?
Yeah.
Just wanted to put that out there.
No, we're the 900-pound gorilla. Now, when you're in the cage with the 800-pound gorilla, like, it's a precarious position because when this is all happening, you always think like, okay, they're going to see the light. They're going to see the light. I mean, you can't even imagine how much goes in on the back end to this. Like, you just can't even imagine how many hours and days and testifying in front of the SEC and all of this shit. You would never imagine that you could put this much work into this type of thing. But you always think like, well, they're going to eventually see it, right? Because you would assume, I assumed, that like, okay, well, this is kind of like America, and like the facts are the facts, and this is all on chain. Right. And so you kind of think, while this is happening, like we're almost out the other side of it. Like we're almost out.
It would, honestly, if I was them, if I were you, I'd be like, oh, they said it was in the wrong month. Case closed. Let's throw the, you know what I mean? Like it would almost be like, oh, you just need to settle one thing. It's done.
It was actually that moment where I think I realized, like, no. This is not about finding the truth. When I saw that was how they could manipulate what actually happened, it like clicked for me, where I'm like, oh no, there's literally nothing we can do, nothing that will get them to see. Because if they're willing to do that, just to like say like, well, okay, well, here's the thing, and you're like, well, that wasn't like that. What the fuck? People literally just migrated their Kong to a new contract, and now that's the sale. That's what you're putting out there. You realize like, they ain't letting this thing go.
Can I annoy you and everybody listening real quick?
Yeah.
With an example. Well, my example was like, I was parked somewhere and I did a turn through the lanes and turned around, and I got a ticket for it. And the cops said that I did a like U-turn or something like that within 100 feet of a stoplight, which I guess is a law. So like I went and videotaped it. I Google mapped the distance where the address in which he said I got pulled over and when it all happened. And it was clearly over 100 yards. And when I went to court to like give my, evidence, I guess, the judge was like, I see you have this evidence, but the cop's word is also evidence. And we're going to take that over Google Maps and me video recording walking 100 feet. So yeah, I'm just, terrible example. Just wanted to put that out there. Please go on.
Yeah. So I think, their goal is to get you to settle, knowing that they're the 800-pound gorilla, and they want to just wear you down, and make it really difficult for you to decide whether or not it is worth the pain of taking this to where it is now, which is kind of like, no, we can't settle. Settling with you would effectively kill our ecosystem.
That's why.
And it would set a precedence within our space, which is the Web3 space, which is NFT projects.
It wouldn't.
All of us.
No, it would. That's the thing. There is no precedence until it goes to court. So as of right now, what we know is like Impact Theory, Stoner Cats, Fly Fish Club, and we know Bored Ape, we know Hudah has been under investigation by the SEC
for years too. At this point, they're probably going through the same thing, right?
Yeah,
and there's probably a laundry list of other projects that haven't said anything yet.
Yeah, absolutely. But because no judge has ruled on this, it's sort of like, well, that's why they call it regulation by enforcement. The SEC, their job is not to regulate by putting people through pain. It's to follow the laws. And part of the problem with Congress is there hasn't been clarity with these ancient. I mean, we're talking the Security Act of 1933, right? I mean, it's 2024, almost 25. Shit's changed a lot.
Or the internet was invented, pretty much.
I mean, it's kind of incredible. But like, listen, we approached this thing from the very beginning with nothing but honesty. We were like, cool, we're going to show them. Like, and by the way, like, it's as intrusive as you can imagine when you get subpoenaed. Did
you have to strip naked at any point or no?
It was like everything but that, Joe. Okay. It's everything but that.
But part of that too, part of why it's so intrusive, I think ties into this. There were two standouts for me in the Kongz statement, by the way. The entire process, they showcased a complete lack of understanding of blockchain technologies. Part of why it's so intrusive is I don't think they understand blockchain. And so that's part of it. It was a lot, I think, of you guys doing the digging and correcting their mistakes, and I think there's a lot of them. And then I do want to get to the other point, too. Maybe you can touch on that, but I also want to talk about Banana, because they're calling Genesis Kongz a security, like you said. When you migrated, all of a sudden, that's now a security. And the other thing is Banana, is that right?
Yeah, from their standpoint, they're almost one and the same. Like, they're almost one and the same. We could theoretically keep Genesis Kongz if we got rid of Banana.
Well, okay. Let me ask you then. What is it they wanted of you? What is their ask? If you were to have settled instead of fight, what would happen to your assets? What happens in the Kongz ecosystem?
we would have had to no longer use banana.
Reimburse?
No, not about reimbursing, but no longer using banana in your ecosystem. No play and collect. No yield for Genesis Kongz. Basically, that would have been it. And we kind of decided, and keep in mind, like there's been really difficult decisions. Back before November 5th, we had no idea what a new administration was going to look like. So you're really weighing out. I mean, we have spent. We're a small team. You were before this. You were a loyal, lifelong Democrat. Is that true? Is that true? And then now you are almost a hardened MAGA Republican, which is brutal.
They radicalized Henry on us.
Yeah, radicalized. Is that true? Tell me that's true.
It's not true. Hang on one second. I just got a message, Enzo, real quick.
Yeah, of course.
Sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Joe, okay, we're waiting for him.
Well, you know what I was going to say.
Okay, I'm back. Hang on. Yeah.
Okay. Are you back or not? What's happening?
Yeah. I wasn't a lifelong Democrat, but while we've gone through this as a team, and like, keep in mind, this has been like a team thing. Yes, there are those of us, like myself and Mio and Sven, that have had to do the brunt of the conversations, the legal conversations, but everybody on the team has been affected by it, because everything we want to do has to go through these checks of like, well, can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? Well, what about this? And every word has to be carefully combed through. Because when you're in the middle of this shit, the last thing you want is for them to be like, and by the way, that's what they do. Well, look at this. Look at what Henry the Grape said before he was ever a moderator, before he was ever on the team. Look at what he said. It's like, well, I was just a person then. Oh, yeah.
Did they go through stuff like Discord stuff where you were like, yeah, like lick my tits or anything like that?
Yeah, make no mistake, just to be clear, they are in your Discords.
Wow. Wow. Like all of them? Are they everywhere?
I can't say where, but they're in there. I can't tell you where. I know some where they are.
Can I talk to chat real quick? Chat, can you imagine if the government was combing through your Discord or tweets to look for the most embarrassing shit that you've ever written? It would be brutal.
Doesn't mean they're in your gated channels, but they're checking your announcements pages. They're seeing what you said, how you said it. And by the way, if they want your shit, they'll get your shit.
Oh yeah,
by like bullying or
So let me maybe explain this part to everybody who thinks like, oh, my company is here, it's in Hong Kong, it's in wherever, so we're good.
It's in the Cayman Islands.
It's in the Cayman Islands. Yeah, you're good until you get subpoenaed. By the way, you're good until you get subpoenaed, but make no mistake, they can subpoena anybody on your team, your holders, etc., that are in the United States. If they want the info, they will get it. They'll get it. They'll get it
to put pressure, to bully, to
absolutely the tactics that they use in order to force you to come to the table, to give them what they want. And the other side of it is this: like you're actually thinking at the beginning, you don't. First off, you're terrified, right? And you think that by doing these things, which again, they're entitled to, they're entitled to ask you for those communications. You think you're doing yourself a favor by, you're cooperating. Like, hey, we're not just shutting down saying fuck off. We're like, yeah, you think there's an issue here? There's no issue here. We didn't do any of the shit you think we did. So
can I do some breaking news, just to be honest for a second, so I can tell you guys something that's happened that I've been holding back for a while. Is that
sure?
Yeah, they did subpoena me, Henry, to ask me about some of the experiences that I had with you, to try to see if there was anything going on or any sort of like FUD or weirdness. And so I did have to tell them about the time we were in the conference sharing a hotel room and that you would like sleep naked. So I did. I also did kind of snitch on you as well. So I wanted to speak on that.
By the way, Joe, you're trolling about that.
Yeah.
You're trolling. But I didn't know at first if you were trolling or not, because I know that shit happened.
Because you think that they would actually like have me come in and talk to them about what you did or what you said?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's amazing,
dude. Okay, then
Absolutely.
What were the most shocking things they did over the 2 years on any front, any part of this, like kind of invest? Most shocking things, and what was hang on. Most shocking thing, and what's the most? What's the biggest thing you learned in that process?
I'm just trying to think because everything became shocking. The most, I feel like one of the most shocking things, and this might not seem shocking, but like when they asked us to explain, and this showed a lack of understanding, when they asked us to explain, a list of wallets, and one of the wallets was the wrapped ETH wallet. Okay. Like, please explain this wallet to us. And they were probably looking at that thinking we had like, $2 billion worth of funds. And they were maybe thinking like, yeah, this is the one. We're like, yeah, that's the wrapped ETH contract. Shocking things were, I know they went after our community. I know that they went after people in our community.
Wow.
Like, I don't mean for personal liability, like, oh, you bought that. I don't mean it like that. I just know that they wanted to know from people's perspectives, like, what happened? Like, what do you by the way, I don't know what they said to those people. I don't know what it all looked like. I just know that it wasn't just like, oh, Henry got a subpoena and CyberKongz got a subpoena. I know that. So it was shocking to see maybe the degree to how like unwilling they were to actually see the truth and stand behind accusations that were like completely made up. And when I say completely made up, I just mean like, again, to move a sale to April, it's just made up. We never, by the way, for the record, and the greatest thing about the blockchain is it proved everything we said. CyberKongz as a team has never sold a single banana, not one banana. And so like, their theories of what we could have been doing with banana, like it just doesn't check out because we've never sold any.
And they saw that, they came around to that, and then did they like move goalposts again? Did that change anything from their side?
It didn't matter because I think ultimately, the later we got into this, the closer we got to the election. We tried working things out with them. We genuinely did. We tried working things out. But when they did a U-turn on us, which I won't get into the specifics of it, but they did a major U-turn where they basically where we had a potential agreement with them that would have allowed the ecosystem to continue on. Like, without getting into the details of it, like there was, again, you're weighing out. Here's what we're accusing of. This is what we're going to go after you for monetarily. And you're weighing that out to this is what I was saying before. We're a small team. We never raised from VCs. We minted VXs. We minted Genkai, but we also, we've put so much back into what we're doing, right? It's not like we're sitting on a treasury like so many projects out there that raised where they've got 8, 9, 10, 15, $50 million. You sit here with a small treasury and you weigh out like we've literally already spent a lot, maybe close to $1 million, somewhere around there in legal fees. And you weigh that out and you go like, at what point do we stop the bleeding? Because like, you don't have a choice, by the way. It's not like you can just be like, oh, well, fuck it. We're done talking to you. And so like, you're weighing out, what do we do? Do we come to an agreement where like we can move on? We thought we had one. And the reality was they came back. They had like orders from Washington that were basically like, nope, we're not doing anything with the Kongz unless they get rid of banana.
Get the fuck out.
And that was the line. That was the line. And I got to say this, like, just to be very clear about this, Mio, who's a bro, like we love Mio. He's our artist, our founder. Like I know how heavily this weighed on him. Like I know it. I could feel it in our conversations. He's a creative guy. Like he's not the business dude. He's not the guy who's like, of course he's like, fuck the SEC, but he's not like, this wasn't what he signed up for. He was a tattoo artist that put these Kongz on OpenSea, right? And all this other shit that got created was not out of, when I say not out of his mind, I mean, it took other people. It took Owl, it took Coco, it took all kinds of people to turn Kongz into what it is today. It's taken all of us. Adzi, Enzo, Clumsier, Sven,
even
and
me.
like
Even
Joe
me.
and Joe, and we sorry, it.
Are you crying right now?
No, fuck no.
Okay. Will you please cry? It'll be good for the show.
It'd be good. We
No.
chop that right up, man. That goes a long way.
No, I just I feel for him. I feel for him because
Yeah.
I know how much it pains him to go through all of this.
Yeah.
But my point was like, shout out to him, because ultimately when they decided that here's the line, we're going to move the goalpost again. He's like, no.
Yeah. He's the face of Kongz. His PFP is the face of Kongz, as far as I'm concerned. So like when I think Kongz, I think Mio. So yeah, it's got to weigh on him, and so that's such a fucking bummer that they moved the goalpost. Why are you able to talk about it now? It's been 2 years or something like that. Why are you able to now talk about it?
Well, because it's like this. Now we know where we're at. Okay. We had hopes up until recently that this would all just get resolved. We had hopes that with the new administration coming in, and keep this in mind, like think of this, new administration is coming in January 20th. There's going to be a new commissioner. Gary Gensler is resigning. The other one of the other Democratic commissioners is resigning. One of the other Democratic commissioners is up for I don't want to say re-election, reappointment, whatever you call it. And the Senate has had an issue with reconfirming her. Karen, is her name Karen or Kathy Crenshaw, I think is her last name. And so what you have coming in just call it 4 weeks, 4.5 weeks,
a month,
is a new administration that is pro crypto. Donald Trump himself has an NFT project. He's launched his own, tokens. It's like, you're telling me that with this literally weeks away, this is the time where you're putting your, the pedal to the metal, and you're saying like, let's get one last one on the books.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your read on that? Like, why?
Washington. I think this one, look, CyberKongz were big, right? Like we had our moment. And by the way, I'm not saying like we're not big now, but like who gets all the attention now? Pudgies, Bored Ape, Azuki. The best attention we get is when we come out with a Wells notice, right? And I think that they thought that they got like an 800-pound tuna on the line. Now, what they got is a 900-pound gorilla that's about to literally smack the shit out of them.
It doesn't have very much money either.
Also true, but we're degens, bro. Like we just fly by the seat of our pants. So what happened was when they put the pressure to us, settle or we're Wellsing you, we're like, we're not settling. So now so the Wells notice was issued on Friday.
Oh,
we got the Wells notice Friday.
So are we okay? I don't know shit about anything. Are we hoping that we can just delay this as long as possible until the new administration comes in and hopefully it all goes away? Is that possible?
It's certainly possible. I mean, it's almost inconceivable to me that they would try to push this through and file suit before we have a new commission. It just doesn't make any sense. Could they? Absolutely. But the hope is that when the new administration comes in, that they're taking a good hard look at fraud and they're saying, proceed with fraud cases, because that's what the SEC should do. If there's fraud, protect investors. Go after the people who are committing fraud.
Yeah,
but
there's no shortage of people committing fraud in this space.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel, right? Like go after that shit. We've donated to charity. We've given, millions we've given to charity. We're building, like we're the ones like that. That's the one. By the way, the other side of it is like, if you want to set precedent, we're the last people. We are the fucking last people. And our attorneys are sharp as hell. They are fucking good. Prior enforcement agent. We are the last people that you want to go to court with because our shit is tight. When I say our shit is tight, by the way, if we would have settled, they go through when you see these settlements with Stoner Cats or any of these cases that you see against DeFi, who do we have? Tornado Cash. And you see the kind of shit that people are talking about in emails to each other, messages to each other, promises to investors. Not one would have been the most fucking boring settlement you could ever read. And you would just scratch your head. So if you want to take that in front of the Fifth Circuit or the Ninth Circuit or the Southern District of New York, and you want to put that in front of a reasonable judge who maybe understands crypto under a Trump administration, it's just, I'm like, we're the last people that you want to take a case like this to, because I'm pretty confident you'll lose. It doesn't make sense. You have to make some shit up to get there. And reasonable people, I think, would hear their their chronological order of how things went down. And then they would see the blockchain and be like, well, that's not what happened. And I feel like it would be easy. Now, the other side of it is it may not be. You may get a judge who's not pro crypto, doesn't understand this, gives the government the benefit of the doubt on everything. That could also happen.
Or just is part of the cog of the machine that rubber stamps whatever the government wants, regardless of whatever happens.
Could be. Yeah, it could be.
It kind of matters where cases are heard, I think, too, right? I mean, there's so many factors there. Dude, there's so much love on the timeline for you guys right now, and it's not just CyberKongz. It's like universal. It's every single tweet I've seen about it, which they're everywhere, but just everybody's showing support and love for you guys, that's got to feel good after the past couple of years that you've had. If you got people have beat you guys up at points over the past couple of years, and they didn't know you. How do you describe? You guys were fighting with two hands tied behind your back. You know,
I think our tweet said like suffering in silence, and like you know, of course, like Hudah, you knew from the beginning, you know, like what was happening with the SEC, because like who you gonna like at the beginning, it's me, Mio, Coco. And like that shit's heavy, and like Coco, you can only talk to online. You know, you got to be able to talk some of this shit out, and it's frightening. But I think that this, and to answer your question, Joe, like why now? Well, because we decided we didn't have to make the Wells notice public. It's not a public document. It's not public until they actually file an action, like an actual lawsuit against us. But like so many others, OpenSea, Uniswap, Consensus, like we're like, no, we're putting this out there. We want people to see what this administration is trying to do at the 11th hour by trying to push through some nonsense before we have a new administration coming in, which had a directive from the American people that they wanted shit changed. And I'm not saying everybody in America was voting for a change at the SEC, but some were, and there's a clear directive to President-elect Trump that we expect changes at this level. So we're like, okay, we're going to put this out there. And when I say it feels good, like I can only imagine what the community's been thinking for 2 years now, where we have tried to do some stuff, but you know, you can make an argument like, yeah, we've done some stuff, but not the kind of stuff people would normally expect from us. And that's because we've had, two hands tied behind our back, blindfolded. You don't know if you're about to make things worse for you. You can't tell anybody what's going on. It's the worst position to be in. And meanwhile, you see everybody else doing all of the shit that literally would land them a Wells notice. And you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
The meme coin, the whole cycle is crazy because like all I'm thinking about is like, well, how is this happening? How are people not getting Wells notices? How is this not all just going to shit? You know, it's crazy. And well, first of all, I mean, like, let's not get political because, you know, we are like kind of a Democratic leaning show. Is that fair to say?
I don't think so, but you can say it.
Okay, thank you. But I would say that like even like Gary getting back into the space, he wrote a little something in a tweet like with the new administration coming forward, we'll have more clarity going forward. And so it does seem as if there is a lot of these, and I would have to say like maybe NFT season coming back is part of this sort of like veil of bully tactics of legal mumbo jumbo that's kind of going away to a certain extent. And maybe that opens up NFT projects to feel better about doing some of the things that they want. So we might not be a Democratic leaning show, but I'm more Democratic leaning. So, but I can see that a lot of people have been really struggling. And if those are the tactics that they do, which is like basically creating and changing goalposts to bully you into a settlement, getting money from you, and just doing that for the fucking sake of bullies.
It's the legal mafia. What they want is they want your money and they want the press release so they can go back and show for their career, you know, at the enforcement level, at the office level, like we got this. This is what we did. They don't care. Now, by the way, I'll say this. I testified to the SEC twice. Nice people. Like it's when I say nice people, it sounds crazy. Nice people. You have like casual conversations with them. They weren't like, it's not like you're sitting down in a room with like detectives who are like, you know, nice people. The part that I don't like is that in the end, it didn't feel like they were seeking the truth. It felt like they already knew what the end result was going to be, and they had to just fit their narrative. And in the end, even at the enforcement level, at the enforcement level, the enforcement attorney level, they're foot soldiers. There's people above them that don't understand this any more than these people do. Because let me just make this last point real quick.
Yeah, sure.
I really began to understand probably 6 months in how little, like, you guys know how difficult blockchain is, like reading Etherscan at the beginning, all this stuff. I began to understand, like, they're noobs. They're noobs. These are not experts who can be like, yeah, here's the thing, and then look at this. And no. Like, the furthest thing from that, it would be like sitting your mom down, and then you're just like, yeah, this is a MetaMask wallet, and it's like that level. It's that level.
Jesus.
So
imagine
explaining the CyberKongz ecosystem.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah. They're like, can you explain this wallet? You're like, yeah, that's the Weth wallet. And then they're like, they reach in their pocket and they're like, what about this wallet here? The one that opens up and there's credit card. You're like, you're a fucking dumbass, dude. What are you talking about? Well, I was going to say that you would, if their goal is to seek the truth, then that would be something that they could go after. But when their goal is different from actual truth, then it doesn't matter what the truth is, dude. If their goal is to get you to settle or give you money or seek something else, you giving them the truth is no longer the goal. So they don't really care about the goal. They care about something else, which there's no winners for in that. Only the people that are in charge of that, which I wanted to say.
There could be people there that do want to seek the truth and don't agree with decisions coming out of Washington. That there could be that. I just think there's a point where they're so deep into something that they just can't let it go. It's like they just can't let it go. They're like, you got to give us something, man. You got to let me walk away with something.
Is it like traffic cops? They have a quota. They have to make X amount of dollars. No, it doesn't matter how you get it. You got to get it.
After
like that,
after FTX, the SEC had a directive to clamp down on crypto. I mean, we know this. This isn't something new. We've seen was it Operation Choke Point 2.0.
Right.
So we know that there was a directive. Now, who it came from, whether it was Gary Gensler or people above him. And so what I think happened, I'm just speculating here, is that you had agencies, local offices across the country that were like, okay, keep in mind, the SEC is not a massive agency. Like, they're probably sizable, but not when you've got the normal financial markets they work in, and now you're adding in a whole other market, which is crypto. And I think you had people that don't know crypto that were trying to take on the directive of enforcing, regulation by enforcement against crypto. And I think after FTX, which is about when a lot of this stuff was happening, it was like, okay, let's throw the net out there. Let's see what comes back. I think we were easy because there was a lot of videos on YouTube from back in the day about people talking about passive income. There were Yahoo Finance articles about Kongz. You can make X hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. By the way, they did not care that like we had bots that were deleting that shit. They don't care that we didn't promote, Banana's passive income. They had the narrative. They needed the story to fit the narrative. Even if the people working on this, which I believe some of them were probably like, well, I don't want to say I believe. I feel like I could strongly say some of them did not want it to get to this point. But what Washington calls the shots, Washington calls the shots. And if Washington is like, no, this is what you're going to do. If you're a 15, 20-year SEC employee, you're just like, cool, I got to do it. To your point, like the traffic cop. Like, if the lieutenant's like, you're going to do this, and that's what you're doing.
Never forget, Joe wanted this to happen. He voted for him. It's his people, man. This is the man responsible for everything happening out there. Right? No, I'm sorry. I love you, Joe. It's
no, I mean, hey, I think that it's fair to say that I'm the one with the most level head here on the show. But like, even the people that it seems as if they're going to be in charge, the crypto czar, what is it, Paul Sachs, and then, what is his name? David Sachs, and then Paul Atkins, who's going to be the SEC chair. Like, listening to those guys, it does seem as if the right people are going to be in charge of those things, and that they want America to be able to thrive with a lot of this crypto stuff, and not in some sort of crazy way, but to put guidance to it. And I think that it's really difficult to not have guidance. And guidance is, what is a security? We're we're putting out Wells notices that gens are a security when we don't even know that. Like, what are we doing? We're not established in any of this, and we're going forward with it. Just, fucking throwing out Wells notices. It seems infuriating. We need some guidance. I mean, I love the Wild West of all of this, but like if without guidance, these sorts of injustices can happen. You know what I mean? And we don't want that from our Kongz or for any of these NFT projects or any of the projects in Web3 that are legit and are doing really good jobs. So
I think it's. Yeah, sorry.
Well, just 1 minute. We got 15 minutes. I think you're probably going on the Thread Guy show after.
Yeah, I think at 5:45 Eastern.
Okay, all right. So just make sure I got 3 questions. I think they're kind of important too. So we got to fit in some room for those. But Henry, if you had something.
I'm just trying. Oh, what I was gonna say is, it feels a bit fitting. Kongz, we've been the first to do some things, right? I mean, it's kind of what put us on the map. We're the first NFT project to come out and say we're fighting. Everybody else settled. Everybody else settled. Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis, they settled. Impact Theory, they settled. I think this is genuinely a fight for the industry. By the way, I don't know that we got the coffers to do it. I'm not passing around the little offering tray. I'm just saying, like, we knew this was a big... Us being in the list of people who bent the knee to the SEC at this hour, like, we could not stomach that.
Could Web3 community help? Is there ways that we could help?
Yeah, you know what? I know OpenSea has like their grant or whatever. We talked about this a bit because you're just thinking of the realistic side to it. Today, everybody's bullish, right? Tomorrow, Pengu drops. Everybody forgets about this, right? Yeah. We didn't want to come out as grifty. Like, hey guys, support the cause. It looks so. I feel like if we ever did do something, it needs to be Kongish, and I don't exactly know what that is. Maybe it's an open edition mint to support our cause, but it just can't be like, here's a wallet, send money. Like, we would never do that.
Dude, people will support. People will support again on the timeline. It's literally nothing but love. I didn't realize that nobody else has fought. Now that you say it, it makes sense.
Not NFT wise.
No, you're right. And I hope you guys all band together. I loved in your tweet, you told people to reach out if they're going through the same, because others are probably already. Wow.
Like names. I mean, names that have reached out.
That are going through similar?
I don't know. Just, hey, do you have time, to talk? I've had 3 people so far. And I haven't even checked the CyberKongz account. Okay. That's just me personally. So, maybe they just want to understand it to protect themselves in the future. Maybe they're going through it. But I said it. We said it on the Kongz account. We're here to help. Like, we've always tried to be like the humble stewards of Web3, as lame as that may sound to some people, but like, we want to help. So happy to talk things out, with anybody who needs help, including this person who would like to promote our account. We have the ability to grow your account to more than 20,000 real and active followers.
Whoa.
No,
good.
Yeah. It's I imagine though the news is fresh, right? It's 2.5 hours old, 3 hours, not even 3 hours. So I'm sure as people wake up, get the news, realize like we may be going through this too. I assume more people will reach out, but it's.
All right, I'm going to take a quick moment and shill. I'm going to shill us. Great seeing G Money standing with the CyberKongz. He's fucking awesome. He will most likely be on the afternoon show with us here tomorrow, so can't wait for that. Was possibly going to be on here today. Of course, this is a really important story right now, but we should have G Money on here tomorrow. On Wednesday, on the morning show, it'll be a special edition. It'll probably be early afternoon, maybe like noon, but we got bored Elon Musk. So some really fucking cool shows coming up. So a reminder, guys, subscribe. Over on YouTube, it's SlamX Official. And then over on X, CryptoSlam.io. All right, man. Banana. One of my takeaways from your guys' tweet was very specifically BRC20s and some kind of comment about, I think here it is right now. You can't have an ERC20 in tandem with a blockchain game. Where did that come from? What was it the SEC said about that? And then what's the implications for... I mean, if charges were accepted or if this got in front of a judge and there was a ruling, like what would that mean for Web3 here?
Well, I mean, this was their issue with us, that we had a tradable token associated. I mean, I don't even think it mattered that it's associated with an NFT that yields. They just had an issue because you could essentially kill the connection between a Genesis Kong and Banana. It's possible to do. But they still have an issue with Banana, which is a tradable ERC20 token. And keep in mind, it was never sold. There was no ICO. There was nothing. They're just like, that's a security because you can like trade it on the secondary for money.
Oh, dude. Well, I forgot that's a precedent they keep trying to set. The fact that your asset's trading on secondary, they're saying it's a security simply because of that, which means everything is a security.
Which doesn't make sense within the Huey test, right?
The Howey test.
Howey test, thanks.
Say that one more time. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Is Thread Guy talking with you and you're distracted because you've got stars?
I needed to send him.
I'm so sorry. Did I distract you from all the cooler people that are texting me right now? I don't even know what I said. I just wanted to bust your balls. It wasn't that important. Hudah,
it was just how he tests something like if the SEC is saying any assets traded on secondary automatically equals a security, I'm assuming it's because of royalties. I'm assuming. I don't know for sure, but every project is fucked if that were the case.
I don't even know that I could answer it. Because everything about what they're doing is made up, and you could literally apply it to every single project out there. If a contract migration where you sold nothing makes a Genesis Kong a security, like what isn't a security? Now you can make an argument that, okay, well, you paired it with a ERC20 token. And like, that's why it's a security. Maybe that's maybe that's sound reasoning to somebody, but like, it just gets a thing. It just gets a thing. Who fucking cares? Yeah. Like this thing gets this thing. Who fucking cares? You didn't buy that thing. You're not buying that thing. It just gives you this thing. You can use that thing to play our things. You can play our game. You can name your Kong. You could breed babies. You could write a biography on chain. If other people want to use that thing in their game, they can do it too. But like, who cares? It's not like we're like, oh, by the way, and you have to buy this thing from us. You have to buy Banana. So think of this. What wouldn't be a security? Because if you're selling tokens to people, look at all the pre-sales that happen out there. If you're selling them, well, then fuck, that's got to be a security. Because you can't, because if it's a security when you're not selling it, then it's got to be a security when you do sell it.
It's like when you fight with like your significant other, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter anything. It's just the goal is to not lose at some point. You know what I mean? It's like, I did take out the garbage. Yeah, but you didn't 2 weeks ago. You said something annoying to me.
Damn.
Like, oh, okay, well, sorry about that too.
That's good. All right. Well, it sounds like Loop wants to chat with you guys. He's probably one of those in your DMs. Dude, it's going to get really fucking interesting here over the few weeks. Okay, 2 questions for you. Good. The people want to know this, and it's a great question. Okay, the things going on with the SEC over the past few months, how much impact did that have on everything that happened over on Bitcoin, from Prometheans to the Untitled Collection to the decentralized Rune? Did it impact your decisions? Any part of it?
No. You know what? Somebody wrote that. They asked that, and I didn't get it. Like, apologies. I'd love to respond to everybody, but I just hadn't had the chance to. No, it really, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. The SEC stuff has been a massive thing that we've had to work on. So, you know, could it have been something subliminally in your mind where you're like, okay, we're doing this. There's not much we can do with this thing here. It's better in the hands of the community. It wasn't ever anything that it wasn't a conversation we ever had with the SEC. It was nothing that was on their radar. It was none of that kind of stuff.
You didn't get rid of decentralized because of the SEC.
No, we did not.
Yeah. No, that's cool to hear. I mean,
no, and to be honest with you, I would be completely honest with you if that was a major catalyst for it. It just wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's the third one, Hudah?
The third, okay, well, and I don't even know that Henry can say much about it, but then what do the next few months for you guys look like? And even you personally, like, the fight's not over. In a way, like, next phase of it's just starting for you guys. So what does the next few months look like for the Kongz, whether it's building or just like what kind of challenges you got with the SEC now?
Yeah, this is uncharted territory for us. I think, you know, we have a new administration coming in end of January. So I think we're going to be really curious to see, you know, what things could look like with a new administration. But ultimately, I think this is like, you know, we said we were unshackled. Does that mean we can just go out and do whatever the fuck we want? No, we're not stupid. I think by unshackled, it means like now the community can understand where we're coming from. They understand the messaging. I think we've had to be
cautious.
I think we've had to be cautious. We haven't been super clear about the direction that we're going in. And I think at this point we can, we're going to have a conversation, with like Gen Kongz, want to have a conversation with them later this week, just to like be open. It's hard to be open and honest when you're in the middle of this, because like it's changing so often. So I think now that this is out, I think it's a time where we can, like, when I say rebuild, I think you know what I mean by that.
Dude.
Like
Yeah, dude, it feels like you can go back to being Kongz. It feels like you can sit down and actually get to think of what you can do creatively, which is what you always did. You guys always built, you always innovated, you always did things first. And the fact that you got to sit here and think of what can't you do because of them breathing down your neck, to some degree, if that's gone, that's fucking exciting for you guys. Love to see you guys just get out there and start playing again, you know?
And the SEC is independent from like the presidency, but a lot of times new people come in. So these Wells notices could carry on hypothetically. They're not just thrown out when a new administration comes, but we are hoping that they get thrown out, or they just kind of sit on a desk or get thrown into the trash can. Yeah.
Well, if you look at the rulings against Stoner Cats, when I say the rulings, the settlements between Stoner Cats, also Impact Theory, the two commissioners that are going to stay, Hester Pierce and however you say his last name, Hudah, their dissents, if you read their dissents in those two particular cases, they are pro crypto, they are pro NFTs. They look at these things the same way we do. These are collectibles. So that's what's coming in. Like, that is what's coming in. That they're staying. Gensler and the other one are going. We don't know what's happening with Crenshaw unless there's been news lately. We're going to have a commission that's dominated by Trump's putting in pro-crypto Republicans. I
can't wait till the celebration that happens once it gets thrown out. It's going to be a glorious day, and the 800-pound gorilla weight that is on our shoulders hopefully will be lifted. I do want to apologize to a lot of our community, a lot of our chat members, that you've had a long-standing, year-long secret that you've kept from them, basically lying to them on a daily basis. So I did want to apologize to them. It just shows you the depths in which, Henry is able to do that. So just wanted to apologize.
Dude. I will say, you guys don't understand what kind of guy he is. I mean it. Like, he's working full time at his store. It's like his all day, every day. On top of that, full time working for the Kongz, and on top of that, full time going to battle for literally on behalf of this space. Yes, on behalf of the Kongz, but on behalf of this space. I know what kind of time he's put into that. That dude is built different. I swear to you, people don't realize, but Henry, you're fucking amazing.
Thank you.
I'm glad you got.
Something the other day that meant a lot. Because we were talking about the Wells notice coming, and I forgot what happened. It was maybe last Wednesday or something. And you're just like, you've been dealing with that all day. You're like, I would have no idea. Like, I don't know how you do that. And I don't mean it as like, look at me, how do I do that? But I was like, oh, cool. Like, I'm glad that we can shoulder some of this burden, keep it from the community, keep trying to grind out what we can. Because like, you can't fold. You can't fold in the middle of it, because the shit's got to be handled. So,
yeah, if you're going to have a guy in a foxhole with you when the alien invasion happens because drones are flying over New Jersey, you want Henry in your corner. You want Henry in that foxhole.
Goddamn right.
And there's no one else, especially in the Web3 community, that has got bigger balls, that's a better person, and that is down for business with their community and their project than you. So I love busting balls. I love busting the Kongz balls, but I also do it because I love you guys so much, and especially the heartbeat of the Kongz, which I think would be you. So thank you.
Appreciate it, dude. Yeah, no, thank you.
Beautiful stuff. All right, Henry, dude, thank you for sharing that with us here. I'm sure we'll be talking about it a lot. Anyone who doesn't know, Henry is a host of this show, Monday through Friday. We're here every goddamn day, 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. Again, make sure you subscribe. Killer guest this week. And make sure you guys go and check out Crypto Slam's, next gen of explorers. Go to ethereum.slam.vision, sign up, check it out. More on that later. Joe, Henry, love you guys.
Love you.
Henry?
It's a great day. Besides Kongz too, we got Pengu coming tomorrow. We had Gary coming back into the scene. We had all-time highs in Rect Coin and Bitcoin. It's a great day.
Gary is back. It's great to see.
Gary's back. The tides are turning. We're fucking back. It's beautiful shit. Guys, have a great evening. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Peace.
Bye.
Hang on. Let's go out the. You want to go out with Kongz?
Yeah.
You want to go out?
No, let's go our shit.
Let's go our shit.
Non-fungible idiots, don't you know? Bringing our heads to the rhythm of the code. We don't care about dollars or the shiny blade. We're just holding to zero. It's on everything. Round tripping positions, that's how we roll. We won't make a dollar, won't celebrate. We're the zero holders, our anthem we sing. Zero holders, our anthem we sing. Zero holders, we're the kings of the sea. The non-fungible is the living the dream. We're all on the zero, it's our way to be. In the world of NFTs, we're wild and free.
They're fucking drones looking for nukes. What the fuck is going on? Anyway, Henry, you got a boogie, I know.
Yeah, Henry, good luck with all of your with Thread Guy and with all the other people that you're going to be hanging out with. We really hope that you enjoy your time. Hopefully you won't quit our show now that you're
Hollywood Henry's back.
Henry. Look at him, he's muted. He's so muted. He doesn't know what's happening.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I might swap this out for my other computer so it looks a little better on Thread Guy.
Are you going on right now?
I think in like 15 minutes or something.
Cool shit.
Hudah, can you
He-
imagine that Henry is in like a totally different studio, like a total like suit. He's all dressed up. He's all lit up.
Suspenders, hair slicked back.
Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah.
No, is this camera good enough, or should I switch to my
great.
other? Yeah, cool.
Great, dude.
It's fucking great.
You're Kong, dude. You're in a fucking cave in the jungle, dude. You're
I
fine.
don't give a fuck.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Great day. Love you guys. I have to run.
I gotta go.
See you tomorrow.
I gotta go. I love you, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, love you too, dude.
Peace.
Yep. See ya.